There we go. All right, so we are going to start with this video. Let me go ahead. What's most important here is what we hear, not what we see. Now, let me make an observation statement real quick, and then we'll go into the video. I noticed in a couple of these Zoom meetings prior to this date, closer to May, June, July 2021, that whenever Andrew Holmes, which is the one that looks like a Klingon, whenever he speaks, his audio echoes, and only him. And then Tiffany will go to her device and tap her device and then go off screen, and then his audio stops echoing. Like, it happens like 2 or 3 times. And I'm like, that's weird, because it only happens with him, and it only happens when she does whatever she does. So I don't know, it's really weird. I wanted to just note that observation, and let me go ahead and bring me down a little bit. Hold on. There we go. All right, y'all. Let me turn the music down a little bit too. Thank you, Mystical. You always do a great job. I love you. See you later. All right.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Today, I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees via Zoom live stream on YouTube. Today is Monday, February 7th, 2020.
Now, I knew I was going to have to say this sooner than I wanted to. Amanda, I know you are on this grammar and dictation. I know you were on it. I know you heard February. That's it.
And the time is 6:50 p.m. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
6:50.
You got to unmute yourself.
Now, if you have seen this video before, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. I hope that you have. I didn't put it in the breakdown playlist until about 1 o'clock today, something like that. But if you have seen this video already, I would ask that you give me a shout out in the chat and let me know that you have seen it, because I want to know if you see what I see. I'm going to go back on this one because we're close enough to the beginning that I can go back. I want you to pay attention to Tiffany A. Henyard's eyes this entire time. Because it's amazing to me how she acts like she don't know what the hell is going on, but the whole time she's behind it. I think it was Trustee Tammy Brown who said you can't throw a rock and hide behind a wall. Her eyes are huge. So there's no way she can hide her expression. I'm going to go back to the beginning. I want you guys to watch her eyes. When clerk Allison Keys tries to speak, it's the woman in the middle with the black sweater and the beautiful golden locks. When she tries to speak and Mayor Tiffany Henyard tells her to unmute her mic, I want you to look at her eyes, because the woman can't lie for shit. She ain't been nowhere. She hasn't experienced enough to be able to really finesse and smooth her way in or out of a situation. She only can exploit disadvantaged people. And that's not saying much. That's like taking candy from a baby. I'm going to let y'all watch this again. Take a look at her eyes. Her eyes. Wait, Rosetta said she hadn't seen it. Okay.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Today, I would like to call to order the regular meeting.
Does anybody see the half smile on her face? Now, this is 2022. This is when the attitude has set in. The demon has entered the chat, okay? And that half smile on her face to me tells me she's up to something. And you know them Geminis. That's all I'm going to say.
The Board of Trustees via Zoom live stream on YouTube. Today is Monday, February 7th, 2022, and the time is 6:50 p.m. Clerk, can you please call the roll? You got to unmute yourself.
Yes. Who was she looking at? You got to unmute yourself. She know good and goddamn well that woman cannot unmute herself. She is aware. And look at I want to call her Bishop. Maybe that's who she is in the spirit. Look at Trustee Tammy Brown. Look at her face. Take a look at the very bottom left at the deputy clerk. I cannot remember how to say her name. I apologize. But she's got the tan background. Look at her face. And you know Kiana ready to fight. And Kiana fight the right way. She fight with her brain. Look at Trustee Belcher at the top. She ready for the bullshit. And Trustee Holmes is dumb as a doorknob, so he probably don't know what the hell is going on. Look. Listen to what's being said in the background. There is a team working on this right now. Listen to what they say.
Clerk Allison Key. Yeah.
These are all the trustees.
It sounded like the person in the back said, you muted all the trustees.
Okay.
So
Good
now
evening,
she
everyone.
gets her superpowers back and she's able to speak, right? Now, y'all have worked with Zoom before. It is a simple concept. It is a simple concept. It was built on simplicity. Zoom does not have issues like this where everybody's muted and you can't figure out why. It doesn't happen.
Trustee Steve, is everyone unmuted? Okay, then I'll wait.
Look at Sister Belcher.
Okay, I can unmute myself. Trustee Steve here.
No, I'm waiting for everyone to be unmuted. It seems like everybody else is still stuck.
It didn't allow me to unmute myself at first.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm allowed. Now I unmuted myself.
Okay, well, I see some other trustees are still muted.
See, this woman act like she don't know why these people don't fuck with her.
Yeah, I'm good.
Now, this was February 7th, 2022. February 7th, 2022.
Okay. Can everyone push unmute? I just want to make sure everybody can unmute themselves.
Now she gonna sit here and act like she's troubleshooting. Because she's so
they're working on it now.
She gonna help troubleshoot.
Mayor, your voice is distorted. Your voice is distorted. Okay. Okay.
Is it still distorted?
Your wig is distorted. Your soul is distorted.
Clerk, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Clear?
Yep, you're better.
Okay. Okay, everyone sign out. Trustee Brown, okay, you good?
No.
Yeah, I can. You on now?
You on?
Now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Now look at all
Thank
this
you.
time on the taxpayers'
Holmes,
dime that's been
unmute.
wasted because of her shenanigans.
He can't get unmuted.
Gemini
Holmes.
pranks.
Okay, go ahead. We ready.
Okay, so I'm going to adjust the time to 6:53 p.m. And Trustee Steve,
Present.
Trustee Norwood,
Here.
Trustee Belcher,
Thank you,
Here.
Trustee Holmes,
Here.
Trustee Brown,
Present.
and Trustee House.
Hey, Aunt
You can't
Pooh.
unmute Trustee House.
He's still unmuted.
Good to see you.
We're working on everyone's.
We're working on it, y'all. I don't know what
Yeah,
the fuck
trustee
is going
House.
on.
Yeah, 2 people.
I would
You got
never
2
put you through
links?
this on the taxpayer's dime. I would never be this wasteful with your energy. I would never
Okay, they're
have you
saying
come
that some of you
here.
got 2 links, so it's kind of clashing. I don't know if you got 2 people in trustee Holmes or trustee House. Oh, see, there you go.
Present.
Oh, look, it's working. All of a sudden,
have a
I'm
quorum.
awesome. I'm a genius.
Thank you.
That's one of my programs. that
Okay,
did
so
that.
next we have pledge allegiance. Everybody stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
United
of
States of America,
and to the
to the
republic.
republic for which it
Is she
stands,
laughing?
one nation,
Nation
under
under
God,
God,
She thinks that shit is funny.
indivisible,
indivisible,
Y'all,
with liberty
Amanda, that's
liberty
that
and
Jen
justice
shit.
for all.
for all.
We talked about that last week. She thinks that shit is hilarious. She thinks it
Moore, can you unmute?
to play games with people like this
Double checking.
because they
Making
won't let
sure
her
that
do what
the
she want to do
Department heads can unmute.
because they don't work for you, baby.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm unmuted.
All right, thank you. If you would lead us in prayer.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Well, precious Father, we just ask that you be with us as we have this meeting, Lord. We ask that you would direct us and guide our hearts, Lord, to be leaders that would be a blessing to your people, Father. We thank you for the meeting of our hearts, Father. We thank you for oneness, unity, and purpose on this meeting, Lord. We ask that you bless us all with your safety during this time of pandemic. Continue to watch over us and our families, Lord, as we travel to and fro. We ask all these.
So let me tell you why he's praying, why I think they start these meetings with prayer. Because I think that a lot of the foundation is religious control. I'll be honest with you, because I live in a state where government meetings aren't started with prayer. There's too many religious mindsets. You can't put people under one mindset with a prayer. That would cause divisiveness. But here you have a community where everybody goes to the same church. Everybody follows the same tenets. Everybody follows the same rules. So you pledge allegiance to the flag to remind you that you're here under America, which is important because we're here under America. And then you put people in the sense where they have to be religiously submitted as well through prayer. And I think it doesn't make sense. How is there a separation between church and state, but you pray at a civic board meeting? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Or government meeting. Exactly. It's a tool of manipulation because all the words that are used are false. There's no way that you came here to do the will of God. You came here to talk about what's needed for the government. That may not be the will of God. They may not be the same thing. God don't give a fuck about alleys.
Saturday, the Tea with the Trustees will celebrate Black History Month. And by doing that, we will have a traditional African Caribbean performance group
She do look
present,
like she's
and they will, do poetry. They will play drums, congos, so forth. But it'd be a great performance. Everyone should definitely come out and be a part of it. And look forward to seeing everyone.
Thank you. And then it'll be an email blast sent out from the trustees.
Now, the reason why we're watching this is because I want you guys to listen. Now, you just saw that the sound was muted, right? Mayor Hilliard has no idea why, but she's got a team who happens to be sitting right there working on it when it happens. For real? For real, though? I mean, she didn't even have to tell nobody what was happening. She don't realize how stupid she is. She didn't even have to tell, hey guys, can anybody tell me why they're muted? They were right on it. They said you muted all the trustees. You weren't supposed to mute all of them. Just House and Eves and Belcher and Norwood and Brown. She didn't even have to make a report. She didn't have to put in a ticket. She didn't make a phone call. She didn't send a text message. She didn't call nobody into her office. She didn't even have to try to troubleshoot herself. There happened to be a team sitting right there that sound just like Keith Freeman. And another female sitting right there. They knew exactly who it was. She didn't even say it's Allison Keys. They said it's Clerk Key. Keys. Her name is not Key, it's Keys. But that's how Tiffany Hilliard says her name, Keys. So they said Keys. She is. I feel like, oh boy, when he was like, you are very dumb, for real. You are so dumb. I mean, just think about that. They were speedy on the ready. She never even said, hey, we can't hear somebody, nothing, y'all. Stay right there for a moment. Take a sip right there for a moment, because people move like that and don't realize how incompetent they are. Honey, Tiffany, when you're incompetent, you're incompetent. You attract incompetent people. You do incompetent things. You move in incompetent ways. And until you do what it takes to become competent, you're going to be incompetent. So when you rely on games and shenanigans to do what you do, honey, you're fostering incompetence, because those games don't change, as we'll see tonight. You know what I really love is that when we see her new mugshot, it's gonna have a glow up, and that's good for her, because her last mugshot was busted. So at least her next mugshot, hopefully her eyebrows will be done. She may have time. She might be able to make arrangements enough that she can, do some makeup like Portia did before she gets arrested. Listen, I was smiling in mine. My daddy always said, if you ever get caught up by them people, make sure you smiling. And I was. Anti-Africa's Bengalis made sure she let everybody see my mugshot. I'm proud of that shit too. Anyway, let us continue. That will never happen. Pretty, what you mean that will never happen? Are we talking about her getting arrested? But man, that was a rookie move right there. You could have at least acted like you reported it. Let me tell you how to move. Because see, the thing is, those of us who don't act that way, it don't mean we can't. We just know it ain't no reward for real on the other side. It ain't like we can't. It ain't like we don't know how to move like that. But whatever you do to get them is what you got to do to keep them. And we like to wake up and look outside and not have to look over our shoulder. We like to not have to ask for forgiveness. We like the peace and tranquility of people seeing us on the street and being happy to see us. We don't like having to almost get run over in cars at parades we pay for with the people's money. She a crooked lipstick, and she barely wears that. Ooh, I love being able to sleep at night. I love that my daughter don't have to worry about her safety because somebody might try to get at her because they can't get to me or my mom and them. I love not having to work behind bulletproof walls in a city that I'm supposed to be the leader of. Whew, let's go, y'all.
To get the word out, just go to our social media pages and stuff like that. Second thing I wanted to announce, many residents may know, or many of the board may or not know, but I suffer from multiple sclerosis. And I had it for the past 11, 12 years. It's a debilitating.
Now you see what happened? That wasn't an accident. Did you hear it? What did you just hear happen to his audio? Because that's what we're focusing on, the audio. Her unattractiveness can really be distracting. I understand. Because she is the most unattractive person on the screen. And I'm not just saying that because she's an ugly person in spirit. No, she really is an unattractive person. So, it can be distracting with that wig and that face and, those harsh lights behind her. But I want us to pay attention to the audio. Now, I've gone too far into this to feel comfortable going back, but let me see if I can. Hold on. Because sometimes my mouse is tricky. Yeah, I can. So let me let you guys listen. So just to bring you up to date, I want to call him Detective Steve. When I write the movie about this, everybody's going to have a role. So Detective Steve, we got Bishop Tammy Brown. I don't know what Kiana Belcher is yet. I want to call her a judge. But Detective Edward Steve, because he got a forensic mind. He can uncover anything. He gets to the facts. You hear me? He's talking, and he's beginning to talk about his struggle with MS, and he's opening up the door for someone else to speak about an event that he brought to Dolton. And we're not going to focus on the fact that Tiffany Henry shows no empathy toward the situation, doesn't even really keep her eyes on the screen at all times like she should, doesn't communicate with him afterwards and say, I'm sorry to hear about that. I'm glad you're staying in there. Thanks for bringing this to our town. We're going to support you in this. None of that. Or to the person that he brought. She's very brass and cold and unattractive. And we're not going to focus on that. We're just going to focus on the audio.
Played drums, congos, so forth, but it's been a great performance. Everyone should definitely come out and be a part of it, and look forward to seeing everyone.
Thank you. And then it'll be an email blast sent out from the trustees to get the word out. Just go to our social media pages and stuff like that. Second thing I wanted to announce, many residents may know, or many of the board may or not know, but I suffer from multiple sclerosis. And I had it for the past 11, 12 years. It's a debilitating disease that affects your nervous system. And so since I've been here, they have these MS walks usually downtown, and they have one in the south suburbs, but it's out in Orland Park. So I wanted to bring something to the south suburb area, which is majority of a Black town, minority town. And I got in touch, there's another resident in Dalton that suffer from MS who helped me get in touch with the MS Society. So I got in touch with the MS Society. I got Nancy McRoy on here today. We actually have an MS walk scheduled for the south suburbs in Dalton, May 14th. And it's going to be at the Dalton Park Center. And Nancy, could you explain what's going to happen at this MS Walk, which is the first one in the south suburbs? And I want to invite everyone from Calumet City, from South Holland, from Harvey, all these surrounding towns.
Take note of, because the main reason why we talk is to take a look at the relationship that Tiffany Henyard has actively destroyed with the Dalton trustees, because she continually tries to, we can go into a lot of the money stuff because we know what that is, but the feds are working on that. But on a human level, I think it's important for us to see how these relationships break down, because people don't realize how emotionally unintelligent they can be. And in these moments, I want you to just take a look at how disconnected she is to what he's saying. And the person that is that's speaking now is going to basically share some of her MS story and talk about the event that's coming. And I want to just fast forward a little bit and get to the end of what she says, so that we can just take a look at Tiffany Henyard's response, or the lack thereof, and then continue from there. Give me 1 second.
This is your immune system. So everybody knows now, if you get COVID and your immune system is weak, you may not be able to fight it off. So it's a hell of a disease, and it's a hell of decisions that people with MS have to make, and you have to live with. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Is that the end of your report, trustee?
Oh my God.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else have a general?
You guys didn't get a chance to see what they communicated. I recommend you go back and take a look at the video. It's in the breakdown playlist. It is the February. It's on the Dalton Trustees page, as well as the Village of Dalton. And it's the meeting from February 7, 2022. If you get a chance to watch that, you'll understand why I'm upset. Because there was a very emotional moment, and not in a sappy way, just like I said, on a human level. When people are being very vulnerable about their illnesses, especially when they work in fields where they're known for their strength, you tune into that. You're supposed to, at least. And you allow that opportunity to be an opportunity to connect with that person when you're their leader. And you won't necessarily refer to it as a report as much as maybe thank you for sharing that, without being deep and mushy. I just feel like she hasn't been trained in leadership, not at least in communication.
Announcement? No?
Well, Mayor, I have, Trustee Norwood.
You go ahead, House.
Okay. Trustee Norwood, go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to thank everyone, all the seniors who came out to the free senior food giveaway. Trustee Belcher, she has an organization, a Spinks organization, House of Spinks, who have free food distribution every other Friday. So our next one will be on
This part is kind of non-eventful. Brittany Norwood, Trustee Brittany Norwood, her contribution here is kind of just on the level of giving an announcement about something that's coming up. I do want us to listen together to Andrew Holmes, Trustee Andrew Holmes, and what it is that he brings to the conversation. Because I don't even know if that man knows who he's in the room with when he's talking. Like, he just be talking. You know how sometimes older people just be talking.
Trustee House?
I have more of a question or comment. I received several emails and concerns from residents that who were talking about the Dalton's Facebook page, indicating that they were being blocked or unable, or comments being deleted. So I was hoping that somebody may be able to speak to what's happening or why the concerns may come. I think I forwarded a few of them to Administrator Freeman. He was following up, but I would just like to see if anybody can kind of speak to what's happening on Dalton's Facebook page.
So this is one of the games. You know, we just noticed, we saw that she had everybody muted at the beginning. Well, she won't say it just yet. We can't call it that just yet. I can, but maybe you can't. So we won't put that on the games list yet. But here you see, I want to call him Attorney House, Representative House. Trustee Jason House is talking about the fact that on Facebook, people are being blocked from the Village of Dalton Facebook page. Their comments are being deleted. They're being censored. They're not able to speak up. I often take issue with the fact that the people of this town are called residents instead of citizens, because you know, a resident doesn't have ownership in anything. You just live here. But a citizen does. They have rights and privileges. So, I don't know. It just feels very plantation-ish to me. But let's continue. I want you to hear how Tiffany responds to this concern about Facebook censorship.
All right. Concern is noted. It will get addressed later. Any more general announcements?
One question about that, Mary. Say later. Would that be later this meeting or just later in Finland?
It won't be this meeting. So you said you was in contact with Village Administrator Keith, so he will follow up.
Isn't it amazing?
Okay,
Does anybody else find it interesting how she flips into the nasty and not professional just so easily? Because I mean, I get because I don't believe that she has like very much emotion when it comes to heart, soul, happiness, unless it's her getting the attention. But you don't really see any emotion come out of her that's positive for the most part. But she just gets nasty so quick. It's crazy to me. And then she wonder why they don't fuck with her.
You're welcome. Any more general announcements? All right, moving on. The next thing on the agenda is Village Clerk's report. Clerk Keith.
This is
Good evening, everyone. Again. Tonight, I'm just going to go over all of the minutes that I'm requesting approval from the mayor and the board of trustees. And I'll start off with my list. The first board.
Do y'all see Andrew Holmes down there praying?
Meeting is a special board meeting that was held on September the 2nd. A regular board meeting that was held on September the 7th. Another special board meeting held on September the 20th. A committee of the whole board meeting, September the 20th. A special board meeting held September 27th. Regular board meeting held October 4th. Committee of the whole meeting held October the 18th. Special board meeting, October the 31st. Regular board meeting, November the 1st. Special board meeting, November the 5th. Committee of the whole meeting, November the 15th. Special board committee of the whole meeting, December the 6th. Regular board meeting, December the 6th. Special board meeting, December the 8th.
I'm gonna ask you, do me a favor, Clee Torres, Esquire. I'm gonna ask you for my channel to not refer to anyone as a gutter muppet. That word gutter has too many connotations with Black women. And so I would appreciate if you don't use that phrase here. I think you're smart enough to know that, but you know, maybe you're not. So there you go. Now you know.
Special board meeting, December the 29th. Regular board meeting, January the 3rd. special board meeting, January the 18th, and a committee of the whole meeting,
You good,
January
baby?
the 18th. And that concludes my list of minutes.
Not you.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes as noted?
Come here.
A motion.
Make a motion. Second.
The important
Motion by
part comes
trustee
up.
Holmes, second by trustee Norwood.
Belcher.
Okay.
Yep. Norwood.
Okay, trustee Steve?
1 second, Clerk Key.
Oh,
Any
I'm sorry.
discussion? Any discussion? Okay, I got just one thing, Clerk Key. Is there a
Sure.
reason why we're getting all the minutes like this at one time instead of per meeting? Because there's a lot of meetings from 2021.
And I'm sure you noticed how many meetings were on this agenda. And prior to me having a deputy clerk, dealing with other clerk issues in the office, it's just unrealistic to get these minutes done after each meeting, considering some of these meetings are anywhere from 3 to 5 hours long.
Okay, well, we're working on trying to cut the time down, but I just will hope for a futuristic time frame that you guys can do a little better, because this is just too long for too many meetings to be, you know.
So if you noticed, I have January's minutes on there.
1 second, Clerk.
So we are on schedule right now.
Okay, Clerk, but what I'm saying to you is that I'm just giving suggestions, so this is no argument. I'm saying,
No, it's
I hate when people do that. When they find out they wrong and then they lessen their argument, but don't say, oh, my bad. Oh, yeah, we are caught up. Okay, let me leave you alone then. You got this. God, woman.
not an argument.
too many
I'm
meetings
good.
at one time for approval is all I'm saying. And by you having a clerk, a deputy clerk, I just figured that you would have had someone to help you get the minutes done per board meeting. That's it. That's for the record. So I wanted
Okay, she came in November, and since then we're good. Thanks. I got you, Mayor. We're
All right.
good.
All right, you can call the roll now.
I love Clerk Key. She's such a professional.
Trustee Steve,
Aye.
excuse me 1 second, please. Trustee Norwood,
Aye.
Trustee Belcher. Belcher,
Aye.
Trustee
You're there.
Holmes,
You see the audio issues, right?
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you, guys.
All right. Was that it for your report? Do you have any communication?
No, I have one more thing, and my deputy clerk, Eris Montgomery, will give that report.
Now,
All right.
while Eris
ahead.
Montgomery gives this report,
Hello,
I just
everybody.
keep
Thanks,
your eyes-
Key.
if you can, just keep your eyes on Tiffany Henry.
That's attending this meeting. Just really quick, guys. I know we've been ramping and raving about the FOIA program, and we have finally launched it. And you guys can access it through the Village Hall website under the transparency page. So I do want to encourage all residents and requesters to submit their request through that page. And that's it. Thank you.
You know, FOIA is her arch nemesis. Freedom of Information Act is her enemy. Right now,
Sorry,
there are
that
several
concludes
FOIA
our report unless
requests
anyone
unanswered
has any questions.
All right.
because Tiffany Henry
Thank
does
you.
not like
Next, we have Village Administrator's report. Keith, you have.
Hey, yeah, I'm here. Good evening, Mayor, Madam Clerk, Board of Trustees, and anyone else who's on the line. Just a couple of things, a couple of housekeeping notes. If you are not speaking, please put your your device on mute, please. We'd appreciate it. That way we can sort of limit the feedback. Second thing is if we can, everyone, if we can make sure that you place your name, if you can actually put your name or add your name to the list so we know who you are. Trustees, if you sent a link to somebody for your link, those people show up as you. So if you have an opportunity, I know this is new for today. Trustee Steve, I know you sent me somebody. Trustee House, I know you sent somebody, but in the future, please send me the name of everyone who's participating. We have a few people on the line that may be participating that we may not know. We have a Chicago Sign Group, David from Chicago Sign Group. I don't know what his business is, but I've asked him to mute. I know that we have someone from Vista National on the line. I believe that's Mr. Hogan. And so again, just a couple of housekeeping notes. Let's make sure that we screen everybody before we allow for them to come in. And please don't share your individual links. These links were meant for you. If you need us to send somebody a link, even while we're in the meeting, we'll send somebody a link.
Now you have to ask yourself the question, why did Keith Freeman say this on this platform instead of sending it in an email? If you could, give me your idea of that. Why do you think he said this here instead of sending it in an email prior to the meeting, maybe even? Could it have been to justify what was happening to the audio, making them think it was their fault that the audio was cutting out and they were being muted because they weren't muting themselves? But Zoom is a platform that is built to be able to accommodate multiple people talking at one time, especially if you have the bandwidth. And nobody's having any audio issues except for the fact that they were muted and that there are some people's audio is going in and out. But that's not because they're not muted, because they're in a meeting. They should be able to all be unmuted at the same time. Zoom is built like classrooms and meetings to give you a virtual experience where you can hear more than one person speaking at the same time without feedback. So could it be because he was covering up what was happening? What we clearly heard his voice in the background was manipulating. He was manipulating the audio. Why do they need to mute themselves? Because they need to self-censor themselves. You know, she loves people to be in tunnel vision to the mess, to have tunnel vision and not be able to see anything outside of what she wants them to see. So if you mute yourself, you censor yourself. You can't make involuntary responses on the record. You can't speak when you want to. It's sick, man. It's sick. Super sick.
In the meeting, I know this is brand new, but we'll figure it out. The next thing is I've tried to schedule some appointments with you guys. Tried to meet at least once a month. I have an open door policy, so if you guys need anything outside of those meetings, feel free to reach out to me. I love talking to you guys. So, if you guys need anything, let me know. We've made a couple adjustments and we're trying to look for some financing. I'll keep you guys updated.
The other reason I believe why he wanted to say this on this platform instead of by email is because he does not communicate with the Board of Trustees. You heard him just tell this lady, I don't know you. This was this week. And this was a year ago, 2 years ago. You heard him just tell this woman a few days ago, I don't know you. She's sitting right here though. Yeah, because he's never emailed her. He's never responded to her emails. So it would have to be, how you gonna email me about that, but I ain't got a response to the questions I had about them $2 million that got spent in 1 month.
Are due on March 16th at 5 p.m. as part of those 2 grant applications.
I'm going to skip
will have to pass a resolution.
The department head reports. I do want to make note that there are no audio issues during the department head reports. Okay. There are no audio issues during the department head reports. I want to go to Trustee Andrew Holmes' report. He supposedly works with the police in some capacity. I can't even imagine or understand what he does. He doesn't actually quantify any of his work. He speaks like a painter. He speaks like CeeLo. If you ask CeeLo what he wants for lunch, he'll say, sometimes when you're walking in the fields in the afternoon, you have a craving for mushrooms. That's how CeeLo talks. And that's how Trustee Andrew Holmes talks. And I do believe that he is purposeless. His job is to hold up progress. Let me get to him.
at the end of February, and we thank him for its service. One patrol officer.
Everyone have a great evening.
I'm gonna go back.
Next we have committee reports. Police, Trustee Holmes.
Stay awake now.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, residents, clerk, and board members. The police department has recently hired an additional full-time officer. This officer is in the field training. He will be in the field for the next 12 weeks. One more officer candidate is currently undergoing a background investigation. Then we have one sergeant that is due to retire at the end of February, and we thank him for its service. One patrol officer has also announced he or she has intended to retire May of this year. Another thing I want to touch bases on, what I'm gonna do is let the chief elaborate on the drug bust that was here in Dalton. The officers observed some transaction here as they usually work in trying to stop the drug trade. My message is to them is, you know what, if you come into Dalton and you planning on stopping in one of these parking lots in a restaurant or Menards or White Castle, you can cancel that.
Now he's doing some tough talk. This is also one of those times when I want you to take a look at Tiffany's face. She's almost giggly when he's talking. I'm gonna go ahead and say this with all the allegedly surrounding it. I believe that Tiffany A. Henyard is involved in the drug trafficking in Dalton and Thornton. I don't believe she has any issues with it. I believe she profits from it. Why? Because I never heard her say nothing against it.
Do surveillance and put a stop to it. They usually come along close to the expressway or try to use the back road, or even sometime in the parks. Strong message to you. Find somewhere else to take care of your business and not in Dalton. And I'm also like to thank those residents who have been calling 911 and also the residents who have been calling the 1-800 number, giving up the information on criminal activity that's on their block. I urge you to look down your block. If you see narcotic sales coming in and out of the abandoned homes or even out of the home that somebody owned, continue to call 911. And I want to thank those who have been calling that 1-800 number, 1-800-883-5587, giving up the information as we turn it over to the chief.
I don't think he even looks at the bills. I don't even understand why he works with the police when the job of the trustees are to pass ordinances and manage the finances. Did they just give him something to do? Thank you for turning over the information until we get it to the police. You don't see none of that information. You don't see none of them tips.
We have been trained. We have a chief that's on call here 24/7. We have the community with the best eyes in Dalton. And I say that because the increase of their call volumes has went up here. They're calling, they're concerned about their safety. And on another safety note, you can easily go into a store, Menards, and buy a vest. And the reason I'm pointing out a vest, this is to the seniors. If you have not called Public Works or the village to have someone come out and inspect your meter, or ComEd to come out and inspect the electricity, or the gas company to come out and inspect your gas, call 911 if somebody's at your door with a vest on. Because 9 times out of 10, they're not from the village.
Well, 9 times out of 10, 911 ain't gonna be able to get there because they're gonna be with Tiffany guarding her doing her drug deals, allegedly.
Time before someone tried here. The last senior was in the other suburbs, 91 years old. They took a jury, claimed to be from People Gas. We don't want that to happen here. And the reason I say it can't happen here because we got the best citizens here. One thing about the residents in Dalton, you call and you tell and you see everything that's going on. Well,
let me tell you why she looked like she smashed. Because she don't go to bed until 1 o'clock in the morning. She stay up all night planning stupid shit like this. She's a party planner on other people's dime. Okay? And we'll get to that in a minute.
the doorbell cameras. Make sure they are operating and working, because the best eyes, other than your eyes, when you're not at your door, can be your camera that's working on that ringtone. You know, people don't want to get locked up. They don't want to go to jail. But you know what? If you commit this crime here on the streets in Dalton, you know, whether it be our mayor eyes, our trustee eyes, our village eyes, or the residents' eyes, we gonna convict you. That's the end of it.
Who is we? Who is we? Is he a prosecutor?
Okay. Next, we have Melody Fitness, Trustee Brown.
Who is your?
Good evening, all.
Who's
Just want to give an
Shawan
update on the Melanie Fitness Center. As of December 2021,
This
we are
conversation.
51,019.31 in the negative for Melanie Fitness Center.
That's
I know
what's
we
up.
also spoke on possibly getting a appraisal done. We did have an appraisal back in 2017, and that was from CBRE Incorporated. And I did speak to Keith Freeman, Administrator Keith Freeman.
Is she even here? Why is she giggling? I don't mean to pick on her like that. Not yet.
About getting an updated appraisal report. I know that the Park District is also interested in possibly purchasing that property, but an appraisal is needed.
Now I'm gonna stop. Oh shoot!
Today
I need
is
to go with
Monday.
that. I want us to listen to this conversation because I want us to pay attention to how Tiffany Hinyard responds to the request for an appraisal on Melanie Fitness. Now, Melanie Fitness is a government building that is used usually. People rent it out for events. It has a pool there. They were under fire because they were having some really raunchy pool parties there. So they stopped renting to certain people. And now it looks like the conversation has moved towards selling the building. And Tiffany Hinyard has been known for trying to stop the growth of businesses in Dalton unless they do what she wants them to do in whichever way she wants them to do it. Maybe fire an employee like Trustee Kiana Belcher or something like that. Possibly give her some money or support her campaign or whatever. So it doesn't surprise me that she tries to slow down the process of the building being sold to someone. I do believe that anyone else that comes into the town, if she can't victimize them, by that I mean allegedly extort them, then she'll do everything she can to keep them out. So I just want us to listen to this conversation because she starts talking about wasting money, like she didn't spend $15,000 of the taxpayers' money on a queen chair for the inauguration of supervisor in Thornton Township.
01931 in the negative for Melanie Fitness Center. I know we also spoke on possibly getting a appraisal done. We did have an appraisal back in 2017, and that was from CBRE Incorporated. And I did speak to Keith Freeman, Administrator Keith Freeman, about getting an updated appraisal report. I know that the Park District is also interested in possibly purchasing that property, but an appraisal is needed for that property. So definitely we'll reach out to Administrator Freeman and see where he stands as to an appraisal getting done on that property. So he was forwarded the information he needs to. He did get an appraisal person from me, and he also will be getting an appraisal for commercial property from Trustee Norwood. So we definitely will be moving forward with that process of getting that property appraised and possibly out there to see if that property can be sold. That is the end of my report for this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Right, and just to add to what you stated, we already did an appraisal on that. I know myself and another trustee was dealing with that situation in the past.
So I want you to take a moment and listen because she says a lot and she talks fast. So she's going to say that the appraisal that she had done is still good. and that it's 2 years old. And Tammy already knows the answer to the questions that she's asked because she's a very, very, very bright and intelligent woman. So she's not asking questions because she doesn't know the answer. She's asking questions to set up the conversation because she knows she's dealing with an egotistical person and she's dealing with a liar. So she has to make them tell the truth first so that she can demolish them with the facts. I love this conversation.
I don't think we should waste more money and do another appraisal. The appraisal is still good. So you guys should just pull that appraisal. You can pull it through Allison Key, and it's already on file. So we don't have to waste any more money.
When was the appraisal completed?
That could have been 2 years ago. I believe it was 2 years.
2017.
Right. So appraisals are only good on commercial property for 1 year. Correct, okay. Trustee Norwood?
Yeah, because the market, so Mayor, the market has just changed from 2017. So I definitely suggest that we get an updated appraisal because everyone knows it's a seller's market. So right now.
Now, let me reintroduce to you Brittany Norwood. Brittany Norwood is a real estate expert. She knows what she's talking about.
Now, the values are up as opposed to 2017.
Okay. So I guess my thing to everyone would be to make sure you have an offer, not waste money. If y'all don't even have an offer on the property currently right now, that would be my suggestion to everyone. So I will talk to the attorney and I will talk to the village as well.
Now, I want us to keep in mind, if you've ever gotten an appraisal done on a property, what does it cost? Like $500, maybe $1,000? We're not talking about no money. So why would it even be an issue?
As relates to that. But
and why wouldn't you want an appraisal on a property that you're looking for people to make offers on so you wouldn't know how much that property is actually worth, even if you don't share that information, which most sellers don't? You want to know for yourself.
The only reason why we ask for an appraiser, a possible buyer is interested and would like an appraisal. So that's the only reason why I ask for an appraisal.
No, that's fine, but we don't pay for anyone's appraisal. They pay for their own appraisal if they really truly want to come to Village. We're not going to tell them what it appraised at anyway. Their job is to make a proposal and give it to the Village and tell us what they would like to offer to us. We do not spend money to help them give us money. No.
So, Mayor, just so
wait a minute,
you know,
hold up, Brittany. The only appraisal was done so that
now you see these audio issues
we would know
all of a
make
sudden.
That offer. So that's why I asked for an appraisal, so that we would know if they make an offer. They might make an offer that's unbidded, what we can actually get for the property. So that's the reason why. Right. But if things are going to go in that direction, then that's fine. But I knew Jason had sent me that one for 2017. And when I talked to Trustee Norwood, she suggested that 2017 is almost 4 years ago. So that's the reason why.
Okay, so we could talk offline to go back and forth over it just to
Now, I've heard people say that she has got everybody on her team, and by she, I mean Mayor Tiffany Henyard at the top right with the bad wig. She has everyone on her team to make that town successful, but she refuses to let them work in their expertise because everything she does has to, first of all, benefit her. And it can't possibly do that if it's legal because her job isn't set up to benefit her. She's a civil servant. So if it's benefiting her, then it must be shady. It must be illegal. It must be something she ain't got no business doing. So she's not going to use the people around her to their best benefit because then it would halt her progress. That's crazy.
Cut down on the time of it, but I still suggest we do not do another appraisal. You guys can go back to the same appraisal company and they can revise the numbers for you, but that's a waste of money. So I'm gonna leave it at that. We'll move forward. Next,
we'll move forward. I'll get with you and we can set a date. We can sit down and talk about it. Thank you.
We move forward. Point of order. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Next on the agenda, we have Public Works Trustee Steves.
Good evening, everyone.
Mad already? Damn, chill out.
We all know that we got hit with some major snow. And first and foremost, you want to thank all the guys that have been out here humping and shoveling and working overtimes. You want to thank the public works workers, the laborers, the people out here in the cold.
I'm gonna go ahead and let us listen to this a little bit, but really it's kind of uneventful for what we're talking about. She's going to let Detective Steve work right now. She's going to let him talk right now because he's saying something that edifies public works, and that is her side chick Stacy's department. So she gonna make sure Stacy gets his kudos in the moment.
For improvement. But so I think Public Works is heading in the right direction. And again, I thank all the workers, the guys who come in late night, evening time to plow the snow because we got hit with a lot. Also, on our Public Works Committee meeting, I talked to the director of the water department. And the director of the water department told me he would be at the meeting, and he did not show up. There's a lot of residents who have a lot of concerns about the water department. There's bills that's up. People's bills are high. Estimates are higher. And the residents wanted to know, and the department head wasn't able to come and answer these questions. So I will hope that the next Public Works Committee meeting, that the department head from the water department will be on it and keep his word, because he told me he would be there. So next meeting that I have, I hope Brother Millmore will be there, because there's a lot of questions and a lot of concerns about that water department. And that's the end of my report.
All right, thank you, Trustee. Next, we have Fire Trustee Belcher.
Good evening, everyone. I actually have no report at this time.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Youth Trustee Norwood.
Thank you, Mayor. So I just want to thank everyone who came out for our family skate night. We had so much fun, and I enjoyed seeing everyone so much that I'm going to host a bowling skate night coming soon. So I'm also hosting a youth committee meeting this upcoming Tuesday.
And you'll notice right now that there are no audio issues. Like, everything sounds clear because the conversation is neutral.
Right. But please look forward to having a family bowling night. I would love to see all Dalton residents there. If you all are not receiving updates about our events that we're throwing, anyone can feel free to send me their contact information so I can add you to the list so you won't miss the events. My phone number is 708-968-4297. Again, 708-968-4297. Or feel free to email me at bnorwood@vodalton.org. But please add yourself to the our contact list so we can send you information about our upcoming events in Dalton. Thank you, Mayor. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Next, Finance Trustee.
That was just enough time to eat some potatoes.
No report this evening, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Next, we're going to department reports. Police, Chief Collins.
So I just want to hear you.
Thank you, and good evening, Mayor,
now,
trustees, Madam Clerk.
This gentleman you see below that looks like a frog, he's currently suing the mayor for wrongful termination. The mayor fired him because his wife is friendly with one of her political enemies. But the entire time he was rocking with her, supporting her. And, you know, when the conversations would come up about her being overly staffed with security, he supported it. So now he's coming out saying she used security for the wrong stuff and he got all these skeletons. And it's tough for me because you benefited from it and you cashed every single check while you were there until she fired you.
The village website so people will have access to know what is going on around town. In addition to that, I would also like to make a mention of this cars. That's all. That's the end of my report, Mayor. Thank you.
And their
all right, thank you.
So great job to the Dalton firefighters last week during the blizzard conditions. And lastly,
so I can talk to you. You'll notice though when you go and look at these videos that during these department reports there is no audio issue. No, not one, not a crackle.
Okay, you have the floor, Mr. Moore.
Okay, hi. Good afternoon, /site, where they can call it 800-571-2332, and they will qualify for a reconnection, where at this time we're not cutting water off, but they can apply for it if they're back or past due on their balance. They can qualify perhaps up to benefits of $1,500. And I'm going to work with the media to try to get more information out. I know we have flyer out.
When you listen to these department head reports, you really get a grasp of how poor this town is. And I don't know where you live, but it just seems like most of the people in this town, like an overwhelming majority of them, live below the poverty level. And the town is so geared towards services that poor people need to survive that I don't know if there's any room for services that rich people use to thrive, you know? The activities can sometimes be geared toward less of a empowering place. I've said before, I would love to see some financial literacy, like real financial literacy. Now, this dude you see talking at the bottom that looks like a marshmallow, he was actually in the video that we used to uncover and understand how Tiffany became the supervisor of Thornton Township. That video was really, really great. I'm so glad I got led to it. And it really just uncovered that there was an illegal meeting that happened. And by illegal, I mean, it was chaired by a clerk. The vote for her to become the superintendent happened with the wrong people in the room. The people that needed to be in the room weren't there. So I don't know if she knew that was an illegal situation, but she knew after that. And I don't know where that is, where that is. I wasn't able to see if Jim Giglio had actually gone any further with his claims. But this gentleman that looked like a marshmallow was sitting in the front row during that meeting in Thornton Township. So I don't know what his role is in Thornton, but I think he was security that night. All right, now here's where we get into the shit. Hold on. Let me just let it play. Give me one moment.
Licenses, 1 motor fuel and 2 liquor tax payments. We issued 11 new water meters to be installed. And the total for the month of January is $41,659. And that's the end of my report.
All right, thank you. Next, we have corporate bills.
I got a question for department head. May I be recognized?
We're done with the reports right now, trustees. So if you want, you can email it to them or text them to go over it.
Can the host stop muting me, please? Whoever the host is, stop muting my mic.
So just to let you know, excuse me, I got too deep into my potato. Detective Steve is able to see that the host of the meeting is muting him. Now, the host of the meeting is called Village of Dolton. I don't know who that person is. I think that's Khalil Hogan, because that's who they were paying to do their media stuff in the previous conversations that we've seen. In the previous meetings, I believe that was the person they were referring to that owns Marvelous Media Group. So I'm guessing that's why he's in the room. But I think that's who's muting him.
Oh, they just told.
So now we know it's not a technical difficulty. It's actually something that's happening on purpose. That's important because this is a legal meeting.
I told you guys, if you're not recognized or there's nothing going on, everything will be muted so we can move on with our agenda. You have
No, it was never said that if you're not recognized, everything will be muted. That wasn't what was said. It was, please mute yourself if you're not speaking. That's what it was. Those are two different things.
Well, hold on, trustee. If you have any questions for any department heads or anyone on here, you guys can email them so we can move forward with our agenda.
If only thing about that, I asked a question to the department, I don't get the answer. We asked about the amnesty program 5 times already with the water department. We haven't got the answer, nobody. So we wait for a public meeting. We haven't got that answer from Mr. Moore yet.
Okay, so again, if you saying you haven't gotten any answers as relates to things from any department, I always tell you guys, and I'll say it again, call my phone. I tell y'all that always. So when we don't have to get here to this board meeting,
but if there are department heads in place, now we saw in this last meeting where the deputy police chief stepped up and said, you can call me. You don't have to call Keith Freeman. You don't have to call Tanjanique Miller. You don't have to call the mayor. You can call me. But here they're saying they were trying to call the department heads. The department heads aren't able to communicate with them. They're not allowed to. She creates this confusion because she's hiding what she's doing with the money.
Say that someone did not give you any information. I cannot address nothing if I don't know about it. So again, I'm directing you to basically either call me, send an email, call Keith Freeman. He's been very...
She says she's directing them, but here's the thing. The board of the trustees don't work for the mayor. She didn't hire them and she can't fire them. They are elected officials just like her. So why does she get to decide how communication happens? She's a horrible communicator.
Very open to everybody here on this board, and everyone talks to everyone. So it's not a problem. So just if you could use any one of them outlets.
That's just not reality, but okay, that's just not gonna happen. You know, I should be able to ask the department head a question. I asked him to come to my meeting, he didn't come. I asked him a few times, I asked Keith about the amnesty.
Now they muting him again.
Stop unmuting me. I'm talking right now. Whoever the host, stop unmuting.
Okay, so
finish my point.
Trustee, your point is noted. We're gonna just move forward. If you could, you and I can talk after the board meeting to get whatever address that you need.
Thank you for that, Sherry.
So next we have corporate bills, Jason House. Trustee.
Okay, well now I was confused. Trustee Steve, were you finished with your point? I will yield my time to him if he had.
Yeah, I was finished, but they keep on muting me.
Right. Point of order, guys. Point of order.
So when it came to Trustee Jason House, Tiffany decided to defer or give his time to Detective Steve. And that's what I thought that would happen. That's what I would have done.
So what I'm stating is that we would address any of his concerns after the meeting. I would like to move forward with the agenda so we can move forward with the corporate bills.
He legally has an option to defer his time to Trustee Steve. There should be no problem with it.
So Mayor, I'm gonna pause for a moment because I understand what you're saying and we all want to get through the agenda. But I feel that we're gonna waste more time having these discussions versus just actually asking a question and addressing it. So okay. That's why I chose to yield my time. Should I do so? I think that is completely inconsiderate to just mute somebody during their speech. So if Trustee Steve is done, I will proceed with corporate bills. However, that was my reason for yielding.
Okay, point of order. Once again, we're gonna move forward to the corporate bills. We're not gonna have a debate or discussion as relates to question Q&A. If anyone have any questions, I'm telling you guys the proper way to handle it so that we can take care of the business here at the board meeting and not put on.
But who said that's the proper way? Whose protocol are we following?
Out to Keith Freeman or myself to address any concern anyone has. So him asking him a question or going back and forth is not going to get anything accomplished tonight. So if you would call my phone or call Keith or email Keith, and we will address anything that any board member has moving forward. So right now we are on corporate bills.
So Mayor, is your stance that the board is not allowed to speak with department heads?
It is not, Trustee, and I'm not about to do that with you. I'm not about to go back and forth. So is you going to move forward? I need to call on someone else to go over the corporate bills.
Is you?
I just wanted an answer to the question. That was all, Mayor.
It's been answered and we moving forward. So here we go. Point of order. Move on. We on corporate bills.
If we don't help, hold on.
Trustee Steves, we're not about to do that tonight. Trustee House, we're not about to do that.
Okay, so maybe let's have this whole conversation. Can I motion that we go to executive session to discuss the proper way, so that way we're not here?
No, we're not. We're about to move on to corporate bills.
We're either going to motion to go in.
Either going to motion to go into executive session, or
motion to adjourn.
We'll adjourn the whole meeting.
But that's on you guys. We still have to take care of the business at hand, which is pay the bills.
She don't understand
because everyone throws tantrums, people get mad. Y'all got to be adults. We can't sit here and say,
my motion is to go in executive session. May I ask for a second?
You out of order, Trustee. You're out of order.
I'll second.
We're not going to sit here and keep pausing when everyone gets upset about something. We move on with the business. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to answer whatever questions you need. Don't come to a board meeting and do this. This is what we do because people don't get their way. So
you've been the queen of doing petty stuff since you've been in office.
We're not about to do that. Are we moving on to corporate bills?
No, we're not moving on to corporate bills. Okay. We're gonna make a motion to it.
Okay, well go ahead. Go right ahead.
Can the host stop muting me while I'm speaking?
Oh, go ahead.
Disrespectful as hell.
What's your motion?
Yeah, that is rude. That's very
I'm making a motion to go to executive session and get this handled.
We're not from the pause for the meeting to go in closed session to handle Q&A that we can handle after this is done. We're here to take care of the business at hand. That is the structure of a board meeting. Not when someone throws a tantrum or get upset because something didn't get answered. We move forward and we need to take care of the corporate bills. We must pay our bills, guys. That is where we are.
So we motion in second for executive session.
Okay.
Clark Key.
Okay, so we're at a standstill. So no one wants to go and pay the bills.
No one wants to go and pay her bills.
Okay.
Are we going to executive session?
I hope her daughter is at least well educated with all this money.
Okay, and the attorney said, what is the reason for closed session?
Personnel matter.
That's not a personnel matter. Oh, okay.
Look at Sister Belcher. And Khalil Hogan's just sitting there like he ain't even really there. Is he even really there? Yeah, he really there. He moved.
The attorney's going to get on right now so you guys will know how this is about to go.
So just to clarify for the record, personnel is not a legally recognized exception. So we have to be clear when we go into closed session what the exemption is. Now
let us remember, this attorney is the mayor's attorney. This is not the Village of Dolton's attorney. This is not Dolton Trustees' attorney. This attorney is the prosecutorial attorney, which means she is the mayor's attorney, because anything that is prosecuted on behalf of the mayor. That's why I have to make sure you understand the police work for the mayor. Okay, so her interest is the mayor's best interest.
Personnel is not legally sufficient to employ that exemption.
Well, thank you, Attorney Rains. So I would motion that we go in for the reasons stated on the agenda to cover that in closed session and then return.
Which reason is that, Trustee House? Which
we have
number?
Items 15A and B.
Thanks for being here, Sherry.
15A, discussion of conversation. Okay. And imminent litigation. Okay.
And Sherry said earlier in the chat that the information people have on Dalton's median income is wrong. And that's why they get beat up so much. Well, I think so. I think that is part of because when you have such a low median income, of course, we assume that's also a low level of education, maybe a different level of class experiences, so therefore a different level of mentality. I'm sure people who make $20,000 a year aren't usually in the same mentality when it comes to politics and economics as a person who makes $50,000 to $150,000 a year, which is the middle class in America. So forgive us for misunderstanding. If you could set the record straight, I would greatly appreciate it.
So the record is clear. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right. She bought her job. That's extortion. But from what I understand, the Dalton trustees said that I'm gonna pause this here because they're about to go into executive session to have what they did was they said, if I understand correctly, if the Dalton trustees are here, they could help me out with this. The Dalton trustees said, let me hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay. Hold on. Okay, so the Dalton trustees said that the lawyer, this particular lawyer that we see, fired her. They told us this in our chat last week. I think it was last week. They let us know that the lawyer basically got tired of her shit and let her go and fired her as a client. And I've heard before too, I think Sherry, you put it in one of the comments in the video that her husband is the Speaker of the House. I just consider that to be a conflict of interest, but maybe that's just me. And I also wanted to say that they're about to go into an executive session. And if I understand correctly, I might be wrong, but if I understand correctly, the initial reason they said they wanted to go into the executive session was not legally recognized. They said they wanted to go into the executive session for a personnel matter, but according to the attorney, it's not legally recognized. A personnel matter is not a legally recognized reason. Oh, she's also Keith Freeman's friend. Okay. Well, she recused herself. So I think they basically can only go into an executive session if it has something to do with an agenda item. So they went ahead and said it had something to do with an agenda item, which happened to be the same agenda item. I think that Edward Steve would like to talk with Public Works about. I think it's Public Works. I forget exactly who he wants to talk to. So they basically say they give a different reason. So here we go.
All right, just so everyone's clear for the record, she said that we can't go in closed session for the items that it is on the agenda, but we are not going in the closed session for what Trustee Steve wants. That is not a agenda item. So we can go, and y'all want to pause the meeting to deal with that business, we can, but we need to go back and deal with the agenda items at hand. So that means that any residents that's watching this, we're going to mute you. Once again, it is like 7:41 p.m. until you, we can't talk about the village business until we come out of closed session. And then we will re-adjourn about the village business. So there's a motion to go in closed session, and there has been a second for the items listed on agenda 15A and B. Clerk Key, can you call the roll?
I'm sorry, can you tell me who motioned and who second? I didn't hear that.
That was Trustee House, and I don't know who seconded.
I second.
Norwood? Okay, thank you. Okay, Trustee Steve?
Aye.
Trustee Norwood?
Aye.
Trustee Belcher? Belcher?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Me too, girl.
Okay, so
Executive session at 4.
So they're going to go into executive session, and I'm sure in that executive session, they're going to talk about this whole situation with being muted while they're speaking.